the whole dollar decline started way before the troubles in Washington, D.C. This is just simply, cherry on the icing as far as the trade for the dollar shorts go.
From here on out, what's more important?
From here on out, I mean, I had a crazy thought coming into this market
not unusual
today.
for
Yes,
you.
exactly. I was wondering, actually, I mean, why such a muted reaction in all the markets against the news today? And perhaps it's not because the market thinks that there's a constitutional crisis, because it already assumes impeachment. And if you think about it just sort of from an economic point of view, if you have President Pence and a Republican Congress, you have a much greater chance for a very capital-friendly agenda of tax reform and fiscal spend before the election of 2018.
See, I still think that's a low probability, but the point that I would make to some of our Democratic friends is, you may get this guy eventually, or maybe he gets himself. But you're not getting Elizabeth Warren. If he's gone, you're getting Pence.
No. But
so
that's what I'm saying.
But saying that the market already has impeachment in it is ludicrous.
Maybe.
That's
That's ridiculous.
Is that why the markets have rallied to record highs? Is what you're saying? Because you're saying if he is impeached, there's a better chance of the agenda getting done.
Think it through. What are the chances now of getting any agenda getting through the Washington, D.C.?
You sell the markets is what you're saying.
Yes, which has been my argument for a long time, that this has been a political trade rather than an economic trade, and I think the markets are going to stumble. I think the longer this thing goes, it's like a wound. You got to cauterize.
Why is the dollar lost
that
out
analysis?
Of the election gains?
The dollar lost out of the election gains because the bond market is the only one that was smart enough not to buy this whole idea. The whole idea of the bulls has been 3% GDP second half of 2017. The bond market hasn't bought this, and that's why.
You think he's nuts? I can read it on your face.
And it goes in.
I knew it was ludicrous. That's why I brought it up, because I think it's an interesting assessment of what's really going on here. Otherwise,
I've seen other anchors turn off people's mics. I'm going to turn off your mic if you don't shut up.
Oh, you sound like Bill O'Reilly. Look what happened to him.
Jesus, but you don't notice it? Okay, whatever. But that is a Rube Goldberg analysis. The market's up because it's assuming that Pence would be able to get.
The question is, why isn't the market down so much more? Why is the market really acting mad?
Low volatility environment. How much is the market going to move if the VIX is 11 or 10 or whatever it is?
That's been a completely interesting and a separate issue that I think befuddled everybody.
I feel bad for you, Christian. I feel bad for myself and bad for you, Christian. Anyway, let's talk about oil. You think oil's rallying on a Pence presidency? I feel like
I think there are too many factors driving oil at the moment in the context of not just the Pence presidency, but actually the tug of war between what you have on one side, which is OPEC, deliberating whether they should roll over and the time frame around the rollover. On the other side, all eyes on inventories in terms of the expectation for drawdowns. So you do have this tension, and oil price seems to be swinging back and forth in terms of expectations of both fronts.
Yeah, so with oil, though, I mean, it's even hard to do the political backdrop. Every time we hear about supply or whether, production cutbacks, whether they're serious, whether they're not, whether people cheat, how many rigs we got back in the United States online, those seem to be more of the things to watch, aren't they?
Absolutely. I think in terms of OPEC and the meeting next Thursday, 25th of May, the key here is whether we can get OPEC to agree on a rollover. And, I mean, their expectations are being pushed out to 9 months, but we're arguing that actually if they can deliver 6 months and deliver 100% compliance, that's a success. Our base case is they do roll over, but that there's a departure from compliance in the second half. And I think that's going to weigh on prices, putting it towards the low end of our range that we talk about, which is $40 to $60 a barrel. Now, against that, you have inventories, and if those inventories do come off, and we'll see this afternoon with the DOE, but if we see a trend that inventories are falling and there are stronger refining drawdowns, then we may see that offset. But I think as we go into next week's meeting, we should sort of use that as a pinch of salt. Even if they do talk about compliance, we need to see actual delivery of this compliance, particularly in the summer months when you see stronger seasonal demand. And so the propensity for several of the OPEC members, such as Iraq, Iran, and even Saudi, to actually increase production as they have to offset that domestic demand, that propensity goes up.